Hello and welcome to the 22nd episode of Bible FIFA on FIFA 23. Here's a reminder of the team on screen, and here is what we came up against. Fairly solid team overall. Like I've said, you come to expect this at the end of the FIFA game. Hopefully we'll be getting FIFA 24 at some point soon to do a new series in the same sort of way. But anyways, we got off to the most horrendous start. He gets the ball with links and he power shots it past Button into the bins. Great finish, to be fair. Silver David Button has absolutely no chance. And then for some reason the guy sort of semi-stopped playing for most of the game. So I tackled him here. He wasn't playing. I was just sort of ball rolling, thinking he's actually going to do something. And you think, well, I can't just wait for him forever. So I just, with John Barnes, finesse it into the bins for 1-1. So that was that. I then get the ball again. The guy's still sort of in and out really with the playing. At this point, it doesn't look like he's playing again. I know he starts playing here. I 1-2 it into Crouch, smash it in the top corner. I'm like, well, you're playing for the goal there, but he wasn't leading up to it, and it was all just a bit meh. So it's 2-1 at this point. Again, he's playing, he's not playing. He's clearly multitasking. He's got more important things to do. So Cunha, I just think, let's pop it in the bins again for 3-1. And then thankfully, to my relief, he's continued to not play. I tackle him with Cunha, I do a Berber spin, finesse shot, keeper saves it, and then he lags out because he's stopped playing and there's the time limit thing. So anyway, I get the 3-1 win. I think I can't really read from the Bible passage based on goals that are scored where he's not even playing. So I go into another game, another solid team on paper, and he gets the ball again fairly early doors in this game, but I get the tackle in, play it into Barnes, and I absolutely rattle the crossbar. And that was a bit of a theme in this game, crossbar challenge central. So that's number one. We'll count together how many times I hit the bar in this game. As I play in Crouch, who tries to shoot across the keeper, it's well saved. And Johnny Barnes, crossbar number 2, I think I've got to make this an emphatic finish from 2 yards. And I think I did, to be fair, crossbar it in. So that's our second crossbar, and we take a 1-0 lead with John Barnes. Peter Crouch with a beautiful bit of skill. Keeper makes a delightful save, to be fair, to keep the game at 1-0. From the resulting corner, I play it in, a bicey kick, and there's just a mess on the line to keep it at 1-0. And we go into the second half with that. Guy picks it up, plays it into the attacker, eventually comes out, so I think that's Lukaku, and he makes it 1-0. So it's 1-0 now in the game. I pick the ball up again, Barnes to Cunha with a 1-2. Back to Cunha off Crouch. He's through on goal. It's surely an easy goal. I try and bury it in the heart of the bins, and it's an underside of the bar and out situation. So that's crossbar number 3 in the match. So it's still 1-1 at this point. I play a beautiful ball through to Reece James on the quarter volley, crossbar again. So I think that's crossbar number 4, is it? Still 1-1. We then play another bit of play into Cunha. Cunha gets it. Can I bury it this time? Yes, I can. Not too much power. Get the 2-1 lead into the game, and moving on towards the end of the match, I rattle the bar for a 5th time in the game. This has got to be fairly record breaking. I get the 2-1 win, so that would have given us a couple of options. The Bible passage, but last night I fancied playing another game, so I thought let's give us a few more set of options against an absolutely stacked side again, and this is how the game goes. So I get the ball, I play it through to Johnny Barnes, running through on goal. I ball roll horrifically late, but I just run past the keeper anyway, and I put it into the back of the net for a 5th minute goal with John Barnes. However, he wins a corner, and Fikayo Tomori, I think you say it. Anyway, great centre back, great bicey, scissor kick from the corner for the 1-1. And then still in the first half, he goes through. He's sweating it. I move the keeper horrendously with Button, give him an open goal essentially for a 2-1 lead. Still the first half though. I play it into Cunha to Crouch. Crouchy boy gets into the box, gets wiped out for the penalty. You know the drill. I have to put David Button on it. And yet again, I red time it, and he puts it wide of the post into the sort of the crowd where the ball boy area is. So it's still 2-1. But then John Stones with a scissor kick from the corner. The English centre-back game of corner scissor kicks from Tomori and now Stones for a 2-2. And then what's the guy doing here? He just plays it into the back of his own net for a 3-2. I'm thinking, is he going to quit? No, it was just a complete mistake, I think. He plays on, so it's now 3-2 to myself, absolutely gifted. I put this clip in because what the heck is that kind of finish from John Barnes? Horrendous. That's why he's retired. He's past it. But then he goes through at this point. David Button, brilliant save, spreading himself big to prevent the goal, to keep it at 3-2. But then the guy gets another chance, and with Pepe, drills it past Button into the back of the net for a 3-3. And that's how it actually finished. A 3-3 draw, which gives us plenty of options for the Bible passage, the most important bit of the video, which I encourage you to stay on and watch if you're still watching it to this point. And we're going to go and head into that bit now.
Okay, so into the Bible passage, and we're going to go with a goal that we scored with John Barnes in the 5th minute, and that means we can read from a chapter 5 in the Old Testament, because John Barnes is old, and we're going to turn to Ecclesiastes chapter 5 in the Old Testament. And this book essentially just brings some perspective on life, in the meaning of life, often the meaningless sort of feeling of life. And chapter 5 focuses a little bit on wealth and finances. So I want to read to you a couple of verses from that. And this is what it says. In verse 10, it says this initially: "Those who love money will never have enough. How meaningless is it to think that wealth brings true happiness? The more you have, the more people come to help you spend it. And then, so what good is wealth, except perhaps to watch it just slip through your fingers?" And then it goes on to say, perhaps even more depressingly, but there's going to be an important message that I'm going to bring out of this to help us see why it brings us some perspective on this. "We all come to the end of our lives as naked and empty-handed as on the day we were born. We can't take riches with us." And look, the point is, okay, that is essentially, you could be very depressive reading that, thinking, so what's the point then? Like, could just go through life earning money, and it's all just like a waste of time. Like, we come into this earth, we earn a load of money, and one day we die and we can't take it with us. It's like, essentially this passage is trying to help you to see, like, where is meaning in life without God? Where is meaning in life without God? Like, without a God, there's essentially just no true meaning. Like, you can live to sort of gain sort of temporary happinesses and, you know, money, and do certain things in your life and do this and do that and try and get happiness here, there and here, there and everywhere. But essentially, like, what's it all amounting to? Like, you know, you can live to your family and you can love your family and you can do good to your family, and those things are really important and great. But ultimately, like, at the end of this life, you know, if we all are born and we all die, like, if there's no God behind it and there's nothing beyond life than that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, where is the sort of true, like, meaning in life other than just living and being and trying to do good to others and love others and try and have as much fun as we can, and then that's it? Is there more to life than that? And I want to encourage you, there really is. And, you know, the Bible tells us that there is a God who created the universe, that has given meaning and purpose in life. Right back in Genesis in the Bible, God created the world, he created humans to fill the world with life, to look after the earth, to steward the earth, to love God, to love other people. And actually there's a purpose, you know, beyond this life. The Bible promises that those that put their trust in Jesus, there's an eternity waiting for them in a world free from suffering, free from sickness, free from disease. And God calls humans, he calls Christians to bring a taste of God's kingdom to earth, a taste of that place, you know, free from suffering and all the things of this world that, you know, are bad and evil, to bring a taste of goodness into the world. And God calls Christians to do that. He gives them the Holy Spirit to help them do that by loving others, by giving to the poor, by telling other people about Jesus and the hope in Jesus, that Jesus died on a cross to forgive anyone, you know, of their sins that puts their trust and faith in him, so that one day you're going to be in eternity with him. And in this life, you can tell others about that good news, so that they can believe in Jesus and they can have a security of heaven one day, and be stirred more to love others and give to the poor and actually help make this broken world a better place. That's not to say that people who aren't Christians can't do good things to make this world a better place. But the reason you're doing it without God, I think, is from a place of, like, not like true, like, eternal meaning. It's sort of a temporary sort of, will temporarily help this person, help this person, help this person, but ultimately we're all going to die and it's not going to amount to much. Whereas with a God, it does amount to something, because there's an eternity beyond this world, free from suffering, with God, in the most perfect, loving, pure, peaceful place. And that's what drives me to get up in the morning, to want to live for God, to want to love him. The Bible, puts a desire in my heart to want to live for him, to help others, to love God, to spread God's good news, to see this world become a better place, and to see other people know Jesus, to know they don't have to go through life walking on eggshells. They've got a God that loves them behind them in day-to-day life, helping them through one step at a time. And even when it comes to death itself, there's an eternity at the end of it. And then everything you do in your life is shaped by a true meaning with a God behind it and a purpose behind it. So that's my encouragement for today. With God, there is meaning in life. But I also want you to reflect, if you're not a Christian watching this today, actually, what is like the meaning of life without God? Maybe there isn't. And that's a depressive concept, but it's a depressive concept because it helps you to see your need for God, to see your need for him. And he's the only one that can truly satisfy your soul. Lethal Bizzle, the rapper, he wrote a song called The £1 Million Dream. And essentially he said he thought when he got £1 million, he was going to be happy and everything was going to be fine, so then he could do lots of stuff. And the song goes, he got to £1 million and he realised he actually wasn't happy, because there was still just a lacking of meaning. Money doesn't make you happy. There's a sort of emptiness in all of our hearts without God, that, we have a God-shaped hole in our hearts, essentially, that only God can truly satisfy, because he's the only one of a pure 100% peace, love, joy, fulfillment, contentment, all those things. He's the only one that can offer those in a perfect way, and we can get a taste of that in this life by putting our faith in Jesus and receiving the Holy Spirit, God's presence in our hearts and in our lives. And then one day in eternity, we'll be immersed in that forever in a perfect way, and it's going to be wonderful. So there is meaning in this life with God. That's my encouragement today. If you're a Christian, be encouraged by that. If you're not a Christian, I challenge you to think about considering, looking into the Bible, considering, becoming a Christian, giving your life to God, because you need him and he's going to give you purpose and meaning in a way that is going to change your life for the better. So God bless you. Thanks for listening to this. And I look forward to catching you on the next one.